This is the real. This is the real intro.
Many of the greatest
Yo!
players of all
Oh!
time.
Was everybody ready for this video? Put your hands up. We got the top 15 best players of the 1990s. Shout out Nonstop for the video. It's a little educationalist on the video. Shout out.
Many of the greatest players of all time played in the 90s, including the greatest shooting guard of all time.
Yes. He didn't say the greatest player of all time. He said the greatest shooter. That means LeBron's the GOAT. Fact.
The best shot blocker ever.
And Akeem gets a
He's
block.
the best shot blocker.
He gets a second block. Stiff gonna try it
Best shot blocker.
again. Yeah, he gets a third block.
Not the
One of
best
the
shot
most
blocker.
clutch shooters ever.
McKee gets it in the middle for the win. 4/10 of a second.
And the guy with the most assists in NBA history.
He's got him low. The mailman jumps it. Shot up. It's in.
Okay, some of these players in the 90s, I would drop them off. Back then, I would drop them off like 1 to 15, 15 to 5, 11 to 6. I'm dropping these off.
He did it. A new
Players like Mark Eaton, I'm dropping them off. Players like who else? Mark Price, I'm dropping them off. Who else? Hey, I know some 90s players. Horace Grant, dropping them off. Hey, the dude got snapped by Michael Jordan. No, he might be me like 11, 10. I'm dropping some 90s players off.
Assist king, John Stockton.
And so for this list, we focused on the player's body of work from the 1990 NBA season through 1999, taking into account team success,
Hey,
individual
David Robinson though, I'll drop him off fast like if he don't get in the paint. I mean, even if he does get in the paint, he back me up and be like, boom. And he won't do nothing, but like he's big. He's big, bro.
accolades, and consistency throughout the
Mark me,
decade.
I'm dropping off.
And these are the
I'm
15
talking about right now. I'm talking about in like the front in the playing days. Shaq, I probably won't drop him off. Payne, I won't drop him off. Let's see who I can drop off right here. Top 10 best players in the 90s. Alright, I'm dropping this dude off. Ewing, I might drop off. I'm dropping off this dude. Rodman, I'm dropping off. All it does, he doesn't win the greatest rebounders. Oh, yeah, that's bad.
best players of the 1990s. If we asked you about the top shooting guards of the 90s, everyone would first think of the guys who played on the Dream Team. Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Chris Mullin. The Pistons fans would put Joe Dumars in that conversation. The Knicks fans would begrudgingly mention Reggie Miller. And due to his infamous Smitty crossover, some might mention Steve Smith or even Latrell Sprewell. However, there's one 90s shooting guard who scored more points than anybody other than Jordan, and that's Mitch Richmond.
Richmond has an opening.
Forgot about him. Hey, Richmond was nice though.
Richmond won Rookie of the Year in 1989, and in the early 90s, he was part of the legendary Run TMC trio with the Warriors, along with Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin. In 1992, Richmond was traded to Sacramento, which slightly undermined his
I knew
career
Mitch
because he
Richmond was.
mostly played on mediocre teams. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he was a baller.
Mitch moving, stops for the lead. Oh, my! Mitch Richmond, the money man.
One of the most consistent scorers of the 90s, Richmond scored over 20 points per game from 1989 until 1998. And during the 90s, only 4 players scored more points than him. Standing at 6'5" with a sturdy frame, Richmond was nicknamed The Rock long before Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, they called me The Rock.
But he wasn't just a brute with no skill, and was one of the best shooters of the 90s. With
Damn.
1,137 made three-pointers, Richmond was 5th in threes made during the decade, hitting 39% from deep. The second most famous Mitch of the 90s, after Mitch Buchanan, Richmond also won the All-Star Game MVP in 1995, with 6 total All-Star appearances and 5 All-NBA teams. And just like Richmond, this next player hit the ground running. Drafted second overall by the Hornets in 1992, Alonzo quickly showed that he was going to become one of the best centers in the NBA.
Here's Morning, the shot.
You can put him right there.
Averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks in his first
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
And even though he was
shouldn't he
known
be
for
a
his
little higher?
defense,
We'll see who
Alonzo
had that.
Mourning could put the ball in the basket, averaging 21 points per game during the decade. And unlike most centers, Zoe was efficient from the charity stripe, making 72% of his free throws and 53% from the field. But when he got to Miami in 1995, Mourning's career really took off. as he was the main protagonist in the legendary playoff battles against the Knicks, highlighted
Big
by
Buck, I
the
was
fight
a
against his
protagonist.
nemesis, Larry Johnson.
And fists are flying at the other end.
Oh.
Larry Johnson
Oh.
is one of them. Here we go.
Oh!
Going head at each
See,
other.
this is what the NBA should do. Like, hey, he wasn't playing though.
Zoe made 4 All-Star teams
That's what
during the
Vanderbilt
decade,
should have done.
and in
They
1999
never
he
built.
won the Defensive Player of the Year award after averaging a league-leading 3.9 blocks per game. Mourning nearly won the MVP that season too, finishing just behind Karl Malone in voting. And even though Dikembe Mutombo won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards and blocked more shots than Mourning in the 90s, Alonzo was a far better scorer, finishing 17th in points per game during the decade, along with being top 10 in rebounds
blocks
and top 5 in blocked shots. And just like Mourning, Gary Payton won the Defensive Player of the Year award. But what made it special is that he was 6'4" and weighed less than 200 pounds,
How do I feel about this? Gary Payton?
becoming the smallest person ever to win the award, and only the second guard to do it after Michael Jordan.
Payton with the steal and puts it down.
However, unlike Mourning and Mitch Richmond, Payton
stats.
struggled early on in his career, averaging just 10 points in his first 3 seasons, with some analysts even calling him a bust after getting drafted second overall in 1990. But then Gary got serious. He started lifting weights and watching game film, and his career really took off. From 1994 to 1999, Payton averaged 19.7 points, 7.4 assists, and 2.4 steals per game, winning the Defensive Player of the Year in 1996 and making 6 All-Defensive First-Team selections. In his prime, he was
Mourning up above him.
one of the most complete
averaging
players
4
ever
blocks.
because he could score, pass, and defend
Not,
at the
not even
highest.
Wemby's doing that. Pope Mourning, Alonzo Mourning should be
Bench by Gary Payton. Flipped the ball to Kendall Gill. What a play. And he scores.
That's during the 90s. 90s. I mean, I don't know, bro. Put him. I'll put Mourning above him because he could shoot free throws. What? Plus,
Second steal of the night.
And he was also very efficient, shooting 48% from the field during the 90s. And on top of everything, Gary was a leader, capable of running the offense while simultaneously giving verbal hell to anyone who came across him.
I saw Gary Payton control the referees, his coach, my coach, the crowd, the lady in the front. He was controlling the whole game. Shut your ass up. Bow up, twist. Hey, you see the hand on the hip, call it if you see it. Like he just, that sound like it. Finally hit me, I'm like, how is he managing all this?
Due to his defense and infamous trash talking, Payton got nicknamed the Glove. And along
how
with
much
Sean
like
Kemp,
steal?
he led the Supersonics
If he averages like over 2 steals and if he averages a
to the
block, we already know
1996
he averages more
NBA
2
Finals.
steals. I'll put Mourning level first. I would drop Alonzo
And
more
even
off.
though he didn't win the title, Payton limited Michael Jordan to just
Wait, on camera?
41% shooting from the field and 31% for 3.
Off. I don't know what happened. I wish there's like people in the stream that would told me. Should be right here. I mean, that's like people in the stream told me.
In what was the worst offensive series of Jordan's playoff career. This next player also knows a thing or two about battling Michael Jordan, and he was the only player ever to get MJ suspended.
1-on-3.
How much
Couldn't
is,
get it.
also this up? How much is Payne averaging? That's actually tough. Gary Payne or Alonzo Moore. I don't really know. 20. Ooh. Points per game. So 13, 20. Steal, 2 steals. I'm putting Morning. I'm putting Morning over him. Morning's over him. Alonzo Morning. The best thing of you. What's up?
And put back, no, it did fall.
13?
Now Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller having a go at it.
Oh, how come
Reggie
they're more?
Miller
How come he tripping more in the 90s and right now?
was the perfect embodiment of the 90s. A
Reggie
fearless
Miller?
competitor, merciless trash talker, and the guy who always stepped up when it mattered most.
Gets it over to Miller. Miller has a good look at it. Miller wins it for Indiana.
Reggie was considered the best shooter ever before Ray Allen and Steph Curry showed up. And with 1,543 three-pointers made, he led all players in made threes during the 90s. Reggie was also one of the best free throw shooters of the decade, connecting on 88.5% of his free throws, leading the league twice in that category. And in 1994, he became just the third player to join the 50-40-90 club, after Larry Bird and Mark Price. Miller averaged 21 points per game and ranked 7th in total points scored during the decade, with 4 All-Star and 3 All-NBA selections. Before Reggie joined the team, the Pacers made the playoffs just twice in 11 seasons. And since he was drafted, they missed the postseason only once, from 1990 until he retired in 2005. Miller was a born winner, always increasing his numbers in the playoffs, averaging 23 points per in 78 playoff games during the 90s. But with Reggie, it was more than just numbers, as he was one of the most clutch players of all time, with legendary moments like the 8 points in 9 seconds.
Miller for three, and he got it. And it's 105-102. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits again.
The choke game.
It's been a major factor. Miller open again.
Miller.
And Reggie Miller in an animated discussion with Spike Lee. Reggie Miller giving the choke sign to Spike Lee.
Or that time he pushed off Jordan before hitting a game winner.
Gets it in the middle for the win. 4/10 of a second.
But you don't have to score a lot of points to become an all-time great. And the greatest player
Miller's
ever who
better.
scored under 10
Rodman,
points per
yeah.
game was Dennis Rodman.
Rodman diving for the rebound. What an effort that was.
Rodman was drafted in 1987 with no tattoos, without hair dye, but with limitless energy. The Worm was a pest, and he would do everything legal and slightly less legal to stop opponents from scoring. In 1990, Dennis helped the Pistons win their second consecutive championship and won his first Defensive Player of the Year award. In 1991,
Yeah, I'm putting
Rodman
Miller over
repeated
him. Why would we drop off Rodman?
as the
11-2.
NBA's best defender,
Rodman
even
did
though
drop
the
off
Pistons
11-2.
lost to the Bulls in the conference finals, famously walking out of the gym without shaking their hands.
Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here. They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9/10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
But the 1992 season was
Rodman
the
on top
turning
of it.
point in Rodman's career. Even though he was always a great rebounder due to his insane energy, averaging 10 boards per game between 1988 and 1991, he then had an epiphany on how to get even more rebounds. By recognizing the ball's rotation and learning the shooting tendencies of his teammates and his opponents, Rodman became arguably the best rebounder in NBA history, leading the league in that category for 7 consecutive
best rebounder in
seasons,
NBA
despite being only 6'7" and weighing 220 pounds. And even though he averaged just 7 points per game during the 90s, Rodman grabbed 15 rebounds per game.
There's Dennis again.
15
He doesn't
rebounds?
even have to score a basket to turn a game around with his rebounding ability.
Playing tremendous defense, often guarding players much bigger than him. After he left the Pistons in 1993, Dennis joined the
Actually,
Spurs,
I'm not
where
loud.
the tattoos and hairstyles grabbed most of the
Oh
attention
yeah, Rodman's
and
12. I
turned him
agree with
into a
this.
superstar.
Rivers, three-pointer.
He does Rodman. He does everything besides. He does everything besides.
But despite cross-dressing, a wild lifestyle, and on-court incidents, Rodman was the best role player ever. And when he joined the Bulls in
He's a role player?
1996,
That's not a role player.
they became unbeatable. When the Bulls lost to Orlando in the 1995 playoffs,
Bro, a
it was
superstar doesn't have to
mainly
score.
because they couldn't match up with
Like
them in the post.
20 or
However,
20 points.
with Rodman on the team, Chicago swept Penny and Shaq in the 1996 conference finals, with Rodman grabbing an insane
I agree with
6.5
this.
offensive rebounds per
I'll
game,
swap.
and doing it against a 7'1"
Penny and
Shaquille
40.
O'Neal.
Rodman is there for the follow.
The Bulls won 3 consecutive titles with Dennis, and due to his unreal stamina, defensive and rebounding prowess, as well as scandals off the court, Rodman became a legend. And just like the Worm, this 90s superstar had a legendary nickname,
Yeah,
which
got
he
the same
earned by
birthday.
gliding through the air
Right.
before thunderous dunks.
Cooper has it down in front of Clyde. It's good.
Clyde the Glide Drexler was the oldest player on this list, drafted in 1983. And when the 90s started, Drexler was in his prime.
Out as Drexler turns around, puts it up. It's good! Score the basket!
leading the Blazers to 2 NBA Finals in 1990 and 92. Clyde couldn't win the title as the #1 option, but when he joined the Rockets in '95 and teamed up with Hakeem Olajuwon, Drexler proved that the third time's the charm, finally winning an NBA title.
Clyde the Glide finally gets the ring.
He's got it. He's got his ring.
Drexler was one of the most versatile players of his era, averaging 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and nearly 2 steals per game during the 90s. He ranked top 20 in total points, assists, and steals, despite being past his prime in the latter part of the 90s, retiring in 1998 with 7 All-Star appearances and 4 All-NBA teams.
Clyde Drexler stats. Look at the 90s. 23, 21, 25, 20, 22. I don't know, bro.
Along with
Should
an
be on the
Olympic
list.
gold medal, Clyde was one of the most decorated players of the decade.
Hey, Nonstop, this is why.
There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is.
I'm taking Morton over it. You made 4 blocks. I take Morton with it.
Drexler wins it. There it is. Drexler wins it.
Clyde made the playoffs in all 15 seasons of his career. And at the time of his retirement, Drexler was one of only 3 players in history with 20,000 points, 6,000 assists, and 6,000 rebounds. And one of Drexler's dream team teammates is the best player in New York Knicks history, despite never winning a
Ewing's
championship.
this low? He's on number 9.
Drafted first overall in 1985, Patrick Ewing
He's
was
this
a
low?
mountain of a man with polished post moves and a soft touch around the basket. When the 90s started,
he's
Ewing
not.
was scoring 28.6 points and
Come on, how
blocking
is he this
4
low?
shots per game, showing dominance on both ends of the
28
court.
and 4
And
blocks?
just like Drexler, his performance
No, sorry.
declined toward the end of the decade
You
as he
gotta
got
throw
older.
this- you gotta throw
But
this
Ewing
back.
still averaged 24 points,
Bro, this
11
is-
rebounds, and
Alright.
3 blocks, shooting 50% from the field and 75% from the free throw line. In the 90s, the Knicks center was 3rd in total points, 5th in rebounds, and 4th in blocked shots during the golden era of NBA centers. Ewing finished in the top 5 in MVP voting 5 times during the decade, along with 8 All-Star appearances and 5 All-NBA teams.
Here's Starks. John Starks with the lead. And the Knicks by 1.
The Knicks made the playoffs each season from 1988 until 2000 when Big Pat was on the roster, compared to just 9 playoff berths in the next.
How much points is that even average? Like, you gotta throw this list in the garbage. Like, come on, you gotta throw this list in the trash. Let me see how much points he put. Oh, look at this. This is too low. This is too low. Look, 28 and 90. 26. This is too low. This is too low. Maybe I'm forgetting his players. So this is too low.
Next 25 seasons after he left. Led by Ewing, the 90s Knicks were a fighting, defensive juggernaut who left bruises on many opponents.
And Wilkins with the steal. Wilkins.
Damn.
Ewing.
With legendary battles against the Bulls, Pacers, and the Heat. In 1994 and 1999, New York made the NBA Finals and were 1 quarter away from winning it all in 1994 against Hakeem.
Ewing played by Olajuwon. Off the fake.
He can shoot too.
Ewing.
But unfortunately for Ewing, they
That's hard
couldn't
to
get over the hump, losing the deciding game 90-84. In 99, Ewing got injured just before the finals, and the Knicks had no chance against Tim Duncan and the Spurs, and Pat had to retire as one of the best players ever not to win a championship. And just like Ewing, this next player also played on the Dream Team. He also made 2 NBA Finals in the 90s and also never won a championship. John Stockton was arguably the most unassuming NBA player ever. And if you passed by him on the street, you'd probably think he was an accountant.
Really not much different from Michael Jordan walking through here.
But despite the boring haircut and even more boring answers in press conferences and a low-key persona off the court, Stockton became something entirely different when he stepped on the court.
Stockton, open 3. Hit! John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the
See, if I saw a 2020s list, I'd be crushing. But I need to see like how much points he put up because I don't remember from the 90s. I wasn't born. I wasn't even in liquid form in the 90s.
NBA Finals.
I wasn't born yet.
Surgically precise, maniacally competitive, and borderline dirty, Stockton fought tooth and nail to win every game. And due to his hard work and fearlessness, he became the best point guard of the 90s and one of the best of all time.
Stockton on the turn for the win. Oh my, an incredible play by an incredible player.
Stockton led the league in assists 9 consecutive times between 88 and 96, and in steals 2 times, along with being one of the most efficient point guards ever, making 52% of his field goals and 40% of his threes during the 90s. Just like Steve Nash, who came after him, Stockton was a pass-first point guard who first looked to feed others. But similarly to Nash, who was also extremely efficient, Stockton should have probably tried to score more, as he only took 10 shots per game. John averaged 15 points, 12 assists, and 2.3 steals in the 90s, making the All-NBA team 9 times, along with 4 All-Defensive selections.
I kind of agree with this. Because
Stockton was one of the best defenders ever at the point guard position, along with Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Drew Holiday, and Marcus Smart. Nobody will ever catch his record in total steals and total assists.
Fox inside low
Should he
left.
be higher?
Williams.
You think the Stockton should be higher? Wasn't beginning somebody.
Stockton stole the ball. He's the all-time leader for the history of the game.
Largely due to Stockton's insane longevity and durability, as he only missed 18 games during his entire career.
Stockton with the ball front court left. He looks to Karl Malone. He's got him low. The mailman jumps it. Shot up. It's there. He did it. He did it. John Stockton, a new NBA assist king of the NBA.
Utah never missed the playoffs during Stockton's tenure, getting close to winning the title in 97 and 98.
Russell.
But Jordan and the Bulls were too strong, and one of the best point guards of all time had to retire without a ring. But Ewing and Stockton weren't the only all-time greats from the Dream Team that didn't win a ring because of Jordan. And out of all ringless legends, he gets the most flack for it.
4 rings. How many rings you got? How many rings you gonna be remembered for? That's what I thought.
Charles Barkley entered the 90s as arguably the best player in
Charles
the NBA,
Barkley?
not named Michael Jordan.
Barkley. Nobody cut him off.
He didn't win the MVP though.
Finishing second in the MVP voting behind Magic Johnson, despite receiving more first-place votes. And once he got traded from the awful Sixers and joined the Suns, Barkley led Phoenix to the best record in the NBA, finally winning an MVP award. In the playoffs, Chuck was even better, leading the Suns to the finals with one of the most legendary plays of his career.
It's his game to win. Will we go to overtime? Barkley 20-footer, yes, with 1.8 seconds. Charles Barkley.
However, against MJ, Barkley had to accept that he was the second best player in the world. In a close series, the Bulls edged out the Suns in 6 games, winning the championship on the famous three-pointer by John Paxson. Despite the loss, Barkley was a beast, averaging 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, even though he played through injury and needed to get his elbow drained before every game. In 1994, Sir Charles dropped 56 points in a playoff game against the Warriors, the 3rd highest playoff scoring game of all time.
Barkley gets in. 56 points, but he gives them a big 4-point lead.
Despite being only 6'5", the round mound of rebound played like a heavyweight, often outmuscling players much bigger than him. Due to a sturdy frame, incredible first and second jump, and willingness to fight everybody, he was one of the best rebounders ever. But Chuck was also really nimble and skilled. He could handle the ball and routinely throw behind the back passes.
Rebound for Chuck. Oh,
Wow, nice. What the heck? We learned that from?
And even though the championship eluded him, even after he joined Hakeem and the Rockets, Barkley's numbers during the decade speak for themselves. 22.4 points, 11.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.5 steals. And that includes the last 3 seasons in the 90s when he was past his prime. With 7 All-NBA selections, 1 MVP, and 2 Olympic gold medals, Chuck's gotta be happy about his career, despite never winning the title. But the guy who teases Barkley about never getting that ring the most, and who famously fought Chuck in 1999...
Oh, and there's a swing by O'Neal, and they got a brouhaha on the floor.
Is the most dominant center of all time. Shaq was the first overall pick in 1992, and he immediately showed that he was gonna be a force that almost nobody could stop, becoming the first player to win Player of the Week in his first week of NBA basketball.
O'Neal runs the floor, takes it all the way.
O'Neal would also become an all-star, win Rookie of the Year, and crush 2 backboards in one of the most dominant debut seasons of all
I'm
time.
dropping on Shaq though. I'll just blow by him. I'll be like, gone. Done. He's getting untouchable. I'll just do straight layups.
By his 3rd season, Shaq won the scoring title, averaging 29.3 points per game, and also finishing 2nd in the MVP voting. That year, he led Orlando to the NBA Finals, but due to immaturity and the greatness of Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq had to wait to win his first championship. During the 90s, the Big Diesel averaged 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks per game, while making 58% of his shots and leading the NBA in field goal percentage 3 times. Shaq finished in the top 10 in MVP voting in each of his 7 seasons in the 90s and made the All-NBA team in every season except his rookie year. And despite being mostly recognized for his dominance in the 2000s, 90s Shaq was faster and more athletic. And if he had the opportunity to play with the ball more, he'd be even more dangerous.
Get back on transition.
Oh, what a dunk. Hey, look at him look back at Morning.
He
Came flying out of nowhere.
And one of Shaq's biggest rivals during the 90s was a rare player who could match his size,
David
speed,
Robinson?
and athleticism.
Here we go. It's Robinson.
At 7'1", David Robinson had the body of a Greek god with chiseled muscles and the ability to run the floor like a gazelle.
Robinson, West is there, but not in time. Did he motor on that?
The combination of size, strength, athleticism, and shooting touch made Robinson nearly impossible to stop. And during the 90s, he averaged 24.4 points per game, the 4th highest scoring average in the 90s. Getting drafted in 1987, Robinson served in the Navy for 2 years before joining the Spurs for the 89-90 season, which earned him his nickname, the Admiral. And over the next 7 seasons, Robinson won every possible individual accolade. He was Rookie of the Year. He led the league in rebounds.
John Elliott. Robinson with a follow.
And in 1992, he was the NBA's leading shot blocker with 4.5 rejections, which earned him the Defensive Player of the Year. In 1994, Robinson won the scoring title over Shaq, scoring 71 points in the last game of the regular season to push his average to 29.8 points per game.
Grabbed by Ellis, double team by Wood, takes the jumper, yes! 71 for David Robinson.
And then, in 1995, the Admiral won the MVP, while also finishing in the...
I'm nonstop. I'm ready to list. You got some ball knowledge. I'm going to watch the top 5 later because I got to go. See y'all later. See ya.